A very big welcome to everybody. Welcome to Get Ready for Race Equality Week, a 3 months to go event. Race Equality Week is only 75 days away. And sadly, this is our last event of 2024. So the purpose of today is to help everyone make it a great one. I'm Raj Tulsiani, the Chief Executive Officer of Green Park, and along with Javed Thomas of the Collaboratory, we're the co-founders of Race Equality Matters. Before we start, a bit of housekeeping. To help make our events more accessible, when registering, we do ask for the accessibility arrangements so we can offer support. We'll try our best to meet your needs as always, but please bear in mind we do have limited resources. Closed captioning is enabled in the main session. There's also a link chat for captioning during the virtual breakout rooms. They're not recorded. The event is recorded, as I said, not for the breakout sessions, and you'll be able to have access to it for free after the event. During the session, your sound will be auto-disabled to minimize distraction to others, so please share ideas and questions in the chat and we'll do our best to respond to them. The chat tends to be quite busy after the breakout session, so heads up in advance in case you need to switch the sound off. If you're utilizing accessibility tools, there probably will be quite a few pings. Over the next action-packed hour and a quarter, you will contribute to State of the Nation poll, so you know who's in the room, how people are feeling. You'll collaborate with each other and share some thoughts and ideas, especially for new joiners. We will highlight we'll bring out some highlights from Race Equality Week 2024 and some of the impact stories around that. We'll hear about plans for Race Equality Week 2025, including events and resources available to you in this group and beyond. Not only by joining today, you'll also get an exclusive preview of the new 5-day challenge. We'll also do a live run-through just for you, particularly if this is your first time. It can be quite useful, particularly if you're doing it yourself in your organization or you're taking a low diversity confidence. It's quite useful to just run through that. We'll also run 2 new ideas past you and try and experiment to capture all your voices. We will endeavour, and generally we're quite good at finishing on time. Today that's 1:45. The aim is for you to leave today and have 50 plus ideas that will help you and your organisation get ready for Race Equality Week and tackle race inequality. We're interested in intersectional improvements in equality, but always through the prism of race. So, what we do and our partners. As you may hopefully know, but particularly for the new people here, Race Equality Matters is focused on providing you and your colleagues with tools, resources, solutions, and skills to make an impact on tackling race equality in your organisation. We create concepts and solutions in collaboration with those with lived experience of racial inequity and our community of change makers, many of whom are here today. Thank you. We also shine a light on other solutions that make a positive impact. For those who are new today, just to briefly introduce you to our solutions, many are utilised during Race Equality Week. Number 1, It's Not Micro, which helps tackle race, microaggressions and micro-incivilities at work. The 5-day challenge, as I mentioned, will take you through the new challenges later on in the session. Tea break, My Name Is, which I'm always happy to say reached 1.74 billion social media hits in its first month, just to show you the breadth and challenges that we're facing in this area. Safe Space Plus, which engages with senior leaders to have uncomfortable discussions that are action-focused and also structured in a way that doesn't make it career-limiting for the ethnic minorities trying to facilitate them. And the Big Promise tool, which is about turning words into action. Crucially, we're told all of our solutions focus on making a significant impact regardless of the diversity journey of the organisation. And they do, as you can see from the screen. We provide many of these solutions and resources for free. That's why Javid and I and our partners started this, is to take away the excuse of not having the money to do something positive around race equality, particularly in organisations who had already made promises but couldn't deliver them. Sometimes because the skill wasn't there, but generally because the will was there, but the skill to do something that really worked didn't exist. So the solutions are often free, but there's also how to do it guides and events, because we don't just want to throw something over the fence and not support you to actually develop impact within your own organisation. So we've provided a link in the chat, and you can find all of the information and solutions on our website. We also provide additional resources and workshops to our members and partner organisations. It would be great to know how many of yours have joined, either as a member or as a partner organisation. And all of this wouldn't be possible without the support of those members and invaluable funding partners. Thank you to our key partners of Green Park, you're welcome, and Lloyds of London, who've been amazing, who power Race Equality Week and financially support everything we do at Race Equality Matters. Along with the Collaboratory and our Lifetime Vision partner BT, who've been there from the start, we've also got fantastic partners in Auto Trader, HS2, our most recent partner Direct Line, Amy, Edelman, Network Rail, and the law firm CMS. We're a not-for-profit, a community interest company, and need further funding to keep going. As you can imagine, it's been a real struggle, lots of people talking, not many people acting. So although we've recently turned 4 years old, we're now in a position to not be able to continue to offer everything for free as we used to, but I'm afraid that is just the way of the world, and everybody on this call will have experienced that in one way or another. So one way you can help us is by becoming a funding or commercial partner, and we would love to hear from you. Do get in touch with myself, Javid, or through the info@raceequalitymatters.com email. Alternatively, to help us help you, if your organisation supports our work on race and diversity with a budget, internally, we can now offer REM expertise, where we can come and support you in your workplace and help facilitate one of our tried and tested proven solutions in your organisation. Alternatively, we also have a REM membership program to support you, and your organisation will be joining one of the over 100 other member organisations. Membership provides additional support through exclusive access to newly developed REM membership hubs, and includes early access to the 5-day challenge, a license to use the REM member logo, exclusive networks and workshops, specific insights and ideas, and other paid resources that you'll get for free within your membership, like exclusive content, invite to co-create new solutions that are co-branded, free credits to our job board, etc., etc. So if you are interested, you're going to get assets of £5,000 worth, but Javid is offering it for $5.99 plus that. It's a deal, it's a steal, buy two if you can, but do consider it. All joking aside, there's great value there for effectively what your finance director would pay for 2 bottles of wine and a meal, probably. So if you're interested in joining the programme and the 100 organisations who are already members, please do say so. We'll ask in the last poll. And one of us will then be in touch in the next few days if you do want that follow-up. Or you can email Anna directly to find out more. Her email is now in the chat. I've just put my volume up because I've seen in the chat that someone can't hear me. Okay, so before we start, I'd like to do a quick poll to see the state of the nation, who's in the room, how we're feeling about things. So I tend to go with around 60%. So I'll read through some of the questions, break, and then just give everyone a quick overview so we get a feeling for who's in the room. So first question, would you consider yourself an ally or ethnically diverse. Second question, effectively, what do you do in the organisation? We're normally about 20% senior leaders, and then 60% race network members, race network leads, and then a mix of the others. So it'd be interesting to see. I suspect we might be a bit higher on D&I professional today. You're welcome. How is your organisation addressing race equality? Has your organisation done anything that's made a noticeable impact since in tackling race equality? And you'll hear that word impact a lot with us, because we're not interested in helping organisations amplify their corporate aspirations for the future. We're interested in holding them accountable to what they said they're going to do, or what helps them deliver better frontline services or better customer outcomes, let alone what they're supposed to be doing for their staff. Question about whether you've taken part in one of these events before. Question about allies, which is brilliant, because actually the last time we did these series about allies, we found that actually in no group was more than 26% of the feedback on allies positive. So many people thought that allies were really important, but not making an impact. So I will be really interested to see whether we get past 26% in this group, depending on what the mix is. And then again, what percentage of colleagues do something meaningful to help race inequality? I'll leave the rest for the end, because we're getting to 60%, and I know we've got other things to cover. So we're 53% allies, 47% ethnic minorities, 20% senior leaders. Oh, that's a good guess. 35% D&I professionals. Welcome. Find some space in your budget for us if you like what we do. 16% HR, and then race network leaders and race network members. 40%, and a whacking 22% are others. So welcome to everybody. 56% of people said that their organisation does talks and does a little bit of action, and 32%, which is really positive, says they're focusing on action and not just words. And at the bottom end, very few, really positive. Very few of the people here feel that their organisation is doing very little or just talks or does nothing. So, great, thank you. Fourth question, has your organisation done anything that has made a notable impact in tackling race equality? 51% of you are saying yes. 34% of you are saying not sure. 31% of you have been to one of these Race Equality Week Get Ready events before, so welcome, thank you for your support. 66% of you are new.
Raj, I've got to share the poll, so you're going to be distracted for a sec, okay?
Okay. You want me to continue with the poll or crack on?
Just give a couple more results and crack on. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, but we're going to share the poll with everyone.
Yeah, everyone gets all the results later, yeah.
Okay, well, I'm just going to go to the questions that I think are spicy then.
Yeah,
so,
thank you.
do you feel the majority of allies are active in your organisation? 28% of you said yes. So that is a new high record. We've never been over 26%. I wonder if that's got the fact that we're over 50% allies in the room, but still, only 28% of us think that our allies are making the right impact. And then finally, before I move on, in terms of our solutions, 26% of you have used My Name Is, 35% of you have used the 5-day challenge. So good that we're going through that again. All right, so I will move on, because Javed has told me to move on, and hand over to him for the next part of the conversation. Thank you.
Brilliant, thank you. So we can see quite a lot of new people here today. So without any further ado, let's just share a quick Race Equality 2024 to explain it to you.
A very big welcome to the opening of Race Equality Week 2024.
Equality Week is an opportunity to bring the attention to the challenges faced by the marginalized racial ethnic groups and to celebrate the importance of what? Diversity and inclusion.
We believe this forum will give us a space to really discuss and get to the nitty-gritty of kind of what's going on in the employment and education sector and begin to get people to act and change on things they've heard and develop those initiatives which will really support us in bridging that gap for ethnic minority individuals, not just in the sector we work in, but also within their education experiences too.
We want to do something that makes an impact. We're not interested in amplifying aspirations. We're interested in doing things that really connect lived experience with improvements, where people can turn around and go, it's moved forward.
To me, an active ally is not just somebody that's going to join the meetings and get involved in group discussions, but a real active ally, and what is seen as being successful for us is that ally who speaks in a room that you're not in.
Black Fox is doing the 5-day challenge because we believe in equity, equality, and the future of work.
I'm doing the 5-day challenge.
Robię 5 dni challenge.
Race Equality Week 2024. I'm doing the 5-day challenge. Peace.
I believe that accountability helps to move the dial, and therefore it seemed only right that I personally participate and make a big promise of my own.
We invited people to write their names out. We put it up as a big poster display, so we had hundreds of names displayed, and people were coming and they were looking at it, they were correcting themselves, and they were looking for their friends' names on the board, and it created this real sense of ownership. It created a sense of belonging, and it also created a sense of wanting to get it right.
It's helped inform and empower allies to take action.
It brought people together, but most importantly, started conversations with senior leaders.
I feel more energised to continue to work towards change.
I appreciate a couple of you had some issues, but I think logging back off and on sorted it. And thank you for those trying to help out on that. So thank you. And you can all have access to this video so you can share it internally to help promote it and engage. Can I have the next slide, please, Sam? Okay, so 86% said they learned something new. That's what should be done. 93% said it would have an impact on tackling race inequality in their organization, and 93% would recommend it to others looking to tackle race inequality. So there's the proof in the pudding. Next slide, please. So you may be thinking, how can I implement Race Equality Week in my organization? What can we do? That's why we're delighted to introduce Rachel Holbrook. Rachel's a D&I leader with over a decade experience driving transformative and inclusive initiatives across UK, Europe, Middle East, and Africa. She's worked on high impact projects and most recently at Transport for Wales, where she's run Race Equality Week for 3 years. So if we could play Rachel's video, thank you. What did you do for Race Equality Week in your previous organisation?
In terms of what we've done, so we would hold a employer-led webinar, which people could attend and they would learn about Race Equality Week. We would also record it so that people that were not in an office, that were, you know, out and about, were able to access the video. We put all the materials onto our intranet so people could use it as well. And then also our employee resource group, they went and used the materials for the 5-day challenge as well. And they would look at ways of how they could implement them in their events and in their activities.
How could a theme that just takes 5 minutes make a difference?
I think that's in the question, which is the 5 minutes, because everybody has in the workplace a finite amount of time to be able to undertake different things. And I think 5 minutes is enough that somebody can learn something, can action something, they can have a conversation. And that 5 minutes is really important because it gives them that space to actually focus on that element. So, for example, microaggressions, you might not understand what a microaggression is. So therefore, that taking that 5 minutes can be really powerful, because it might be you've grown up in a certain environment where you've learnt to term things a given way. And it's only until you take those 5 minutes that you go, I need to just term that a little bit differently, or I need to change that.
What impact did taking part in Race Equality Week have for Transport for Wales?
I think the impact is it's incremental. So the first year when we looked at Race Equality Week, it was just about awareness raising. Whereas now, when you look at Transport for Wales in 2024, they've got a anti-racism plan. They've signed up to a zero racism pledge. All the leaders in their signatures have phonetic spelling for their names, from My Name Is. Those are really big things that you wouldn't have had in year one. It's that incremental development of awareness raising that's kind of made, you know, the workplace more anti-racist than it was.
What tip would you have for the project leads in an organisation that be running Race Equality Week?
I would say to anyone, just look at the solutions, look at the 5-day challenge, engage with your employee resource groups, or start one if you don't have one, and think about, what can I start doing now in preparation for Race Equality Week? So then you're not looking at, you know, a massive, great big chunk of stuff that happens in 1 week and then disappears again. You know, My Name Is still being used in Transport for Wales, and that's 3 years on. So it's those types of things that are really important.
What does the theme "every action counts" mean to you?
Every action counts for me is backing up the theory around action orientated results. So, okay, you want to be anti-racist. What actions have you undertaken to get you there? Have you done training? Have you used some of REM's solutions? Have you participated in Race Equality Week? Have you signed an anti-racism pledge? Do you understand the difference between saying you're not racist to actually being anti-racist? So it's those types of small actions that actually make a big difference. And I think for me, it's about making sure that you have receipts. So if you're saying that you want to do certain things, and with every action counts, that should be that you're turning around saying, these are the actions we have done. And that I think will push things a long way forwards in everyone's organisation.
Thank you, Rachel. I love the idea of receipts. Show us your receipts. Great concept. So again, thank you to Rachel. Okay, so many of you be aware that we have a theme for Race Equality Week. In 2021, when we started, it was let's not go back to normal. Then it was action, not just words. It's everyone's business. And then last year or this year was listen, act, change. Going forward as decided by the community. So a drum roll, please. We have every action counts. But you may be thinking, can I really make a difference? And remember, you may just be one person, but there is another one person. And then there's another one person. So if we all do something, we can create and be part of a movement because every action counts. The thinking behind it is there's too much talk and too little action. Action is the driving force to change for good. We all have the ability to take action, and no action is too small to spark change. Therefore, during Race Equality Week, if all of us here today, our organisation colleagues, all just take one action, then it will make a big impact. Next slide. Remember, even the smallest ripple can create waves. And importantly, it keeps a focus on ensuring it's everyone's business. So every action counts. Next slide. One way to help you all maximize colleague involvement during Race Equality Week, and as Rachel touched upon, is the 5-day challenge. So following on the success of 2024, with 85% wanting another one with new challenges, we have created a new one just for you because every action counts. So we will now be giving you an exclusive preview of the new 5-day challenge. But not only that, we're going to do a live walkthrough of every single day for you. So it's a chance to engage in it and experience it. Before we run through the 5-day challenge, we'd like you to complete a quick one question poll. So the question is, has your organisation taken part in the 5-day challenge previously? 38% saying yes, 42% no, and 19% not sure. Hopefully, and those that are not sure haven't actually done it because hopefully you'll remember it. But anyway, we'll be going through it now to find out more. So for those new to it, what is the 5-day challenge? In a nutshell, it was built by the REM community, and it's a set of 5 challenges that each take 5 minutes over 5 days. It is that simple. Next slide. Each day has a bite-sized activities that are accessible to maximize colleagues' their engagement. The first 4 days include a theme, a self-reflection eye-opener question, a thought-provoking 2 to 4 minute video, a bit of theory, or theory light I like to call it, simple suggestions on how to take action, and additional resources for those suggested by the community if you want to do a deeper dive into any of the topics. Day 5 is for individuals to make a commitment to action through the big promise. So it's turning your learnings into meaningful action. Next slide. The themes for each day for 2025 is intersectionality, recognizing privilege, inclusive language, code switching or masking, and day 5 will be all about making the big promise. So we will be going through all these as you can. Next slide. And here is an example of one a day. So it's a PDF. You get a PDF for each of the day, and here's all the sections. Don't worry about it looking a bit too overwhelming here. I said I'm going to go through each bit just to say when we go through the slides, it won't look like this, but we just sort of broken it down for you. So are you now ready for the first ever live run through of the new 5-day challenge for you to experience it and see how it goes? So yes, we got a budget. We've been sponsored. There you are. We can afford the sound. Okay, so without any further ado, let's start. Okay, so these are the 5-day challenge. Day 1. So intersectionality. How do different parts of who we are, like race, gender, and culture, affect our experiences and interactions at work? So the eye opener. Which of the following apply to you? So just write them down, or you keep yourself, ethnically diverse, not male, disabled, high level achievement, secondary school, religious, strong accent, caregiver over 50. Just have a think of how many of these relate to you. Okay, next slide. But what if you're told to select just one of those previous characteristics to describe yourself? You can only choose one. How difficult would it be to make that selection? Or how easy? So you can only just choose one. So have a think about that. Next slide, please. We often focus on just one issue like race or gender when talking about diversity at work. But as this activity showed, everyone has many identities that make them who they are. Hence, we don't fit into just one box. Okay, so let's just show a quick video to explain this.
We all have multiple identities that intersect to make us who we are. Intersectionality puts all of our identities together to look at how our overlapping identities connect to systems of oppression. Intersectionality was a term coined in the 1980s by Dr. Kimberly Crenshaw to look at the systems of oppression faced by Black women as compared to Black men or white women. Dr. Crenshaw noticed that while Black men face hardships due to racism and white women face hardships due to sexism, Black women are faced with both sexism and racism. Dr. Crenshaw's work showed us that gender, race, ethnicity, social class, sexual orientation, and other identities we may have all have a significant impact on our physical and mental health, and the truth is that no one identifies only as one identity. Our identities are multifaceted and complex, so it is important to consider people existing in the intersection of their multiple identities and from multiple contexts at the same time. Take Christian, for example. Christian has been diagnosed with social anxiety disorder and identifies as bisexual. He is also African American and is currently living below the poverty line. Any one of these identities could potentially make Christian's life harder than others, but we cannot truly understand his situation or how to help him without looking at how each of his differing identities may affect his mental health. Christian has faced discrimination because of his race and sexuality, which heightens his anxiety. Additionally, because of his social class, he spends nearly all of his time working in a job with very little opportunity for advancement. Ryan is also an African American male, but Ryan is straight, does not have anxiety, and grew up in an upper middle class family. He was not only encouraged, but expected to attend college, and is now working towards a degree in engineering. While Ryan has faced hardships due to his race, he is currently in a very different situation than Christian. It is extremely important that we look into how each and every part of a person's identity contributes to their current life situation, and how all of these identities come together. Whether in education, healthcare, research, or policymaking, adopting an intersectional lens will help us better understand who someone is and the best way to help them reach their goal.
Thank you. So I said you'll get all these resources in the packs. Okay, so intersectionality means understanding that everyone has many different parts to their identity, like race, gender, sexuality, and class. These parts combine to make us each unique people. For example, both a white heterosexual male and a Black lesbian woman have different identities that make up these different parts. So many of you have seen this as intersection thing, and again, it's just showing the whole range of how we can make ourselves up. So maybe later when you get the pack, you can see where you fit into this circle. Next slide, please. Intersectional disadvantage. So looking at the statistics, ethnic diverse employees face disadvantages due to their additional characteristics. So a Black woman faces sexism because she's a woman and racism because she's Black. This has a real impact on her opportunities and career progression, them too. Black and South Asian women face longer delays in securing their first jobs compared to their white counterparts, despite being equally or on occasions more qualified, according to Total Jobs and Diversity Trust research. Black disabled women and girls are often denied equal access to training and educational resources. Asian women are 7 times more likely to be mistaken for someone of the same ethnicity, McKinsey and Co. So this just shows the different in intersectionality, how it impacts you. So from research, Collaborative and Race Equality Matters revealed that 44% of respondents say their company's hiring practices do not reflect an understanding of intersectionality. So that's nearly half. Despite intersectionality being present throughout our organizations, 13% said their workplace created a sense of community for people with intersectional identities. this shows how important it is for workplace to understand the effects of intersectionality and to work on reducing its disadvantages. So as we get to the end of day one, so basically what we do is provide some suggested actions. So or you look through the actions and then just choose one that you would look to use to change the way you act, perform, behave, etc. So for example, if you're comfortable, share your own intersectionality with others to promote intersectional thinking, so we get to understand it better. Attend a race and event hosted by Race Equality Matters, so we do race and intersectionality. Support the creation of safe spaces, so through tea breaks, for people to share experiences, thoughts and feelings of their intersectionality, or strike up a conversation with someone with different background to you and see what you can learn from each other. So there's more. So Sam showed now. So basically, always saying, here's some suggested things from the community. If you did one of these things, it will help us understand and make intersectionality less of a disadvantage and make more of a benefit. Then in the decks, we have an action. So you choose one of them things, and then when are you going to achieve it by? Be accountable to yourself or share it with a colleague. Yep. So it's something we can keep a record of what we're going to do. And there's also something for leaders. So to support the mental well-being of your employees with intersectional identities by reviewing and enhancing your policies and benefits to ensure they are inclusive, practical and responsive to diverse needs, and do check your results and your measures. So in every day we will have something for the leader, and there's additional resources. So that last thing took just over 5 minutes or so, but then here you can have additional resources if you want to do a deeper dive or understand more about it, and these came from the community. So that's the end of day one. So day two is recognizing privilege. So how can we use our privilege as a force for good? So here's your eye opener. Do you feel safe sharing your thoughts in meetings without fear of a negative consequence? Have you ever been able to take time off for personal or family needs without feeling guilty or fearing it would negatively impact your career? Have you ever received mentorship or guidance from someone in a senior position? Have you ever been offered opportunities for career advancement or special projects without having to ask for them? So have a think about them. So some people are able to tick most of these boxes, but some cannot tick any. Thinking about these questions can help us understand how privilege affects the workplace. Privilege isn't something we can control, but we can choose how we use it. So recognizing our own privilege, whether it's based on a race, socioeconomic status, or other factors, helps us understand how we can support others, especially those from marginalized racial or ethnic communities. So let's watch a video to explain this better.
If you have ever tried to change your speech, if you were embarrassed about your clothes or house, if you would never think twice about calling the police when trouble is.
I think privilege is when some people have some things and other people don't have things.
I feel privilege is something that you don't even really have control over.
I think it'd be silly for me to say I don't have a fair amount of privilege, considering like the country I live in and the job I get to do and the college I was allowed to go to.
I suppose being a white male will help me end up somewhere towards the front, but I'll take a few steps back from being gay.
I don't think I'll make it to the front. I think I'll maybe be in the middle. That's just the gut feeling I have.
If your parents work nights and weekends to support your family, take one step back. If you can show affection for your romantic partner in public without fear of ridicule or violence, take one step forward. If you were embarrassed about your clothes or house while growing up, take one step back. If you have ever been diagnosed as having a physical or mental illness or disability, take one step back. If you have ever been bullied or made fun of based on something you can't change, take one step back. If you get time off for your religious holidays, take one step forward. If you came from a supportive family environment, if you can see a doctor whenever you feel the need, if you are able to move through the world without fear of sexual assault, if you took out loans for your education, if there were more than 50 books in your house growing up. So these are your final positions.
I think it felt kind of strange for everyone.
It's a hard thing to discuss or even reflect on. It was very awkward.
I think when you can represent it so visually like this and so immediately, it definitely takes on a new form.
I think we were like all joking around in the beginning. It was pretty lighthearted, and as soon as the questions started coming in, the mood shifted immediately, and we all it was just silent.
Just looking back and seeing like a bunch of people behind you is not a good feeling.
It's like weird how you want to like hold on to explaining a certain privilege, like, oh, but that's not actually me because like I had to work really hard for that. So it's weird to like take a step forward when you feel like you're taking a step forward with someone else, but you wear a lot of the baggage of like how those things were hard.
It was like more emotional than I thought it would be.
It reminded me of when they talk about slavery in high school and you feel like angry for a few days, but then you just realize like this is how it is.
For me, it was kind of frustrating almost to look back and see how much further some people were behind me, and realizing that, you know, a lot of that stuff, no amount of hard work or even legislation can make up that gap.
It's interesting being an Asian American because you're not really sure where you fall on the spectrum of privilege.
I know that for me, one of the reasons I ended up so far back was that there are questions around safety as an African American, as a woman, as a gay woman. There are just so many different ways that I don't feel safe.
I feel like I just learned to be grateful for what you have. You know, we're in such a huge society where it's always complaining about what you don't have. It just shows you that for some families, like each family, you're meant to do better. My grandparents did good, my parents did good, and I'll do even better.
I do think if you're not like aware of privilege, you should do this exercise, but it's more complicated.
Thank you. And there are other videos. I saw someone in Channel 4 did a good one in a school. Again, it's good, but hopefully that shows, the power of visual thing. Next slide. So we can't control how much privilege we have, but we do have some control over how we use privilege to demonstrate allyship. So could we be privileged without even knowing it? For example, next slide, next bit. Thank you. So do we have to worry about things like having our voice heard and our opinion taken on board, being comfortable to say no, people pronouncing our names correctly, not having an accent? Are we affected by any of these things? So some people don't have any of these privileges. Reflecting on this helps us recognize our own advantages. So the next slide, many of you have seen this wheel of privilege. So for example, if you look at this number one, the skin color, so where you got the power and the privilege. So if you're white, you have more, and then different shades, and then dark. And then on the number two, sexuality, if you're heterosexual, you're closer to power. Gay men, a bit further out. And then if you're lesbian, bi, pan, asexual, you're further out. So, and if you're intersectional, then you've got, a lot of people like that African black gay woman, she's far out on lots of these things. So again, you have access to all this. Okay, next slide, please, Sam. So we might catch ourselves after this one, Sam, thank you, thinking I've had it too tough, or I've had it tough too, or I've worked hard to get to where I am. Having privilege does not negate our hard work or our own personal challenges. We all have existing forms of privilege. Allyship involves using our privilege to support those who have less, and recognize that some individuals have more advantage than us. And there's a good line that someone says, it's not what we've experienced, it's what we haven't had to experience. Okay. So how can we become an active ally and use our privilege to remove barriers and obstacles for others? So many of us will have seen this image before. So what this ally would do is bring the boxes down to move from reality to equity by putting them that way, so they can use their privilege of that power. Next slide, please. So here's some other actions we can take. Amplify voices and actively listen. Next one. Respectfully challenge harmful behaviors. There's more information there. So and then next slide. Visit It's Not Micro to learn how to confidently challenge microaggressions, and always be inclusive. So I said this will be created in the deck, and you just choose an action. And as normal, the next slide shows you. So there's something a senior leader can do, and then record your commitment or your action, and then also some additional resources if you want to know more about that, where it includes other videos and things like that. Thank you. So day 3 is about inclusive language. Okay. Have you ever used words and later realized they were hurtful and not inclusive? So how often do you describe someone by their race or ethnicity, saying the black guy or the Asian woman? And it was, I think it was on Question Time recently, wasn't it? So never, rarely, occasionally, or often. Okay, or always. So words are extremely powerful. They can bring joy, but also bring pain. So here's a 1-minute video to explain this.
Inclusive language in the workplace is incredibly important. Words matter. Words can evoke emotions such as anger, rage, disruption, disengagement, but words can also help empower, engage, influence, and inspire. So we talk about inclusive language because people will really pay attention to what you are saying, and you have to be mindful in how you may say certain things. So think about some of the words you might be using, like blacklist. Blacklist is something that we would not recommend that you use, and you may want to use something like blocklist. How do you address a room when you walk in? Would you say, how are you doing, guys? You know, guys is quite genderized, so you may want to say people or folks or something a little bit different. So just be really mindful about some of the language. It's not about policing the language. It's not about telling someone that you are wrong. It's about educating and helping them understand why certain words may not be acceptable in current times.
So why does inclusive language matter? Language shapes how people are seen and treated and indeed feel. Non-inclusive language can offend, upset, or make people feel they don't belong. Inclusive language ensures we all feel valued and we all feel heard. It creates a respectful and welcoming environment. So by recognizing and respecting individual identities and their experiences, inclusive language helps create a culture where everyone can thrive and belong. And we sometimes use words where person X is fine with it and someone maybe from the same background or experiences isn't fine with it. And we just got to acknowledge that. That's how they're feeling. If we go to the next slide, please. Actually, after this one, Sam, thank you. So some languages, do's and don'ts. So as the lady said, instead of saying ladies and gentlemen or hi guys, we can say hi everyone or hello all. Don't use racial identities unnecessarily. The black employee. Refer to the person by their role or name or maybe what they're wearing. Do use gender neutral terms, chairman to chair or chairperson. Don't use stereotypes. You know, you're intimidating and aggressive, and we know who that's usually addressed to. Avoid assumptions based on appearance, where you're really from. If relevant to the conversation, can you tell me more about your background? Don't make jokes at the expense of any group. Avoid language that derives from negative stereotypes about any group. You're so autistic, or you're so gay, things like that. And I apologize for using them examples. Don't use racial necessary. So we've done that one. Next one. Okay. So what if I get it wrong? And that's okay. It's okay to learn and grow with inclusive language. We are all humans and mistakes will happen. Language is constantly changing and evolving. Most people appreciate discussing issues and are willing to understand and forgive slip-ups rather than avoiding or ignoring important matters. What matters most is how you handle those learning moments. These conversations will help create an inclusive environment. So be open to feedback, accept it. Acknowledge and apologize. Don't be defensive. You're not being blamed. Learn to get it right for next time. And then move forward. Don't dwell on it. So going through this process shows you're open to inclusion and respect and the thoughts and feelings of others. And as I said, we'll have some actions there. So if we just move on this, okay. And again, you keep your action there, and there's some more details on there. And an easy one we can all start doing is getting people's names right or not anglicizing them. So on to day 4, code switching or masking. Have you ever had to change the way you speak or act or behave to fit in? How often do you find yourself change the way you act or speak in the workplace to fit in? Never, rarely, occasionally, frequently, or always. Actually, Sam, what we'll do is we'll go to the video just to bring this to life. Thank you.
I started taking the bass out of my voice, so I was less intimidating. Thank you, for example. That would become, I'm most grateful. Little subtle things.
That's code switching. Code switching is a term widely used to describe when somebody changes their accent, tone of voice, and mannerisms depending on what space they're in. We all do it, But for many black people working or studying in white majority environments, it's used for survival.
The reality is I'm a product of my environment, which is I grew up in East London, I eat West Indian food, I often operate in West Indian circles, and those are all factors that do not easily fit into a corporate environment.
For me being a black babe, it comes with an extra pressure, a pressure that you somewhat have to adhere to fit in. I did adhere for about a year, and then I just couldn't do it.
I would definitely say that there were numerous occasions where I had to code switch. I mean, I was at Cambridge, for goodness sake. I'm this girl coming from East London. I know it is a bit of a stereotype because, people speak very, very differently. There are people who are very well spoken, but for the most part, we use a lot of colloquialisms, a lot of slang. I knew that if I say things in a particular way, people are not going to understand me.
For most, code switching and adapting to your environment is a useful way to get ahead in the workplace. But could a world where workplaces fully allow people to be themselves ever exist?
As a black person, as a black woman, we have a history of bending and adjusting to appease others.
The reality is, for someone like myself who entered the profession to represent young black men who I sometimes feel are not given a fair opportunity, if code switching allowed me to be in that position to represent those type of people, then it is what it is.
The whole code switching thing, of course, I would love to know that I didn't have to code switch at any point. But I also recognize that not everyone comes from where I come from. Not everybody has the same experience as me. Not everybody shares the same background as me. And so we have to be accommodating to each other.
I am an absolute advocate for being yourself. Like, be you authentically. There is only one you, and that is your superpower. There is no duplicate. No one can do it like you. Even if you had a twin, no one can do it. No one can say it like you. No one can be you. And that's what makes you so unique.
Thank you. So why do ethnically diverse individuals code switch more, and how does this impact on well-being? People who are part of marginalized groups often encounter stereotypes that portray them negatively, e.g. a black man may be stereotyped as dangerous. These stereotypes lead to discrimination and create challenging environments where individual feels the need to adapt to their behavior to fit in and succeed. E.g. a black man might code switch to a less assertive tone or a certain dressing style in certain environments to avoid a type, as the gentleman said at the beginning. So according to Harvard Business Review, there are three main reasons ethnically diverse colleagues code switch in the workplace. Number one, to increase their chances of being hired by downplaying their association with groups that face discrimination so they appear more professional. Number two, to avoid negative stereotypes. Black men, for instance, are seen as aggressive or stereotypes as aggressive or intimidating. This may lead to many to adopt softer tones and overly polite behavior to counteract these perceptions. And the third one is to connect with those with power and influence by expressing shared interests, which improves their chance of promotion, since people tend to favor those they see as similar. Okay, so next slide, please. Okay, so again, we have some actions. So I'll just move this on. Again, something for the senior leader. Record your action, and then there's additional resources should you need it. And then on to day 5, which is the big promise. So it's all about turning, your learnings and something into a commitment. So on our website, we've got a big promise tool, which you can use. It takes like about 45 seconds to put your promise in there of what you're going to do, and and then you've got a beautiful social media tool. We know some organizations print these off and put them in their canteens or in their receptions. So that's that. Thank you. Next slide, please. So can we have a quick poll, please? So after all this, do you think the 5-day challenge will help in tackling race inequality? 79% saying yes, 3% saying no, and then 19% saying not sure. And we can understand and appreciate that, because maybe people won't change, but it's great to see 79% think it will help tackle race inequality. Question 2, do you think the 5-day challenge will help colleagues better understand key issues ethnically diverse colleagues experience? So it's fantastic to see 96% of you saying yes. So goes back to the previous question. So 96% of you think it will help people understand, and obviously it doesn't mean everyone will change, but it's great that you find a solution will make a difference. Question 3, will you personally take part in the 5-day challenge? So whopping 87% saying yes, One person saying no. Be interesting to find out why or understand. And then 12% saying not sure. So yeah, again, we'd love to find out how we can get you into the yes zone. And final question 4, do you think your organization will take part in the 5-day challenge? So 59% saying yes, and then 28% saying not my decision. So let's just assume the decision makers will all say yes. That takes us into the 87% zone, and then 13% saying not sure. No one's saying no. So again, we appreciate all your thoughts, sharing your thoughts on that. So thank you. Okay, so to support your organization to implement it, we'll once again provide a how to do it right guide, and then the daily downloadable PDF. So they're ready to go for your organization. Some put them on their training and learning in their organization's portal. Member organizations of Race Equality Matters will be able to access these first. So last year, many organizations also sent diary invites to remind their colleagues to take part. So there you have it. You're the first to not only see it, but actually go through the 5-day challenge. Okay, I must say a big thank you. Next slide, please. To many that have been involved in it. Here's some of the people that have done it, and also to Davina and Isabel of Race Equality Matters for working so hard to get us to where we are today. So, but also to the community, many of you can see here today who helped complete that, including you, Craig, North Yorkshire Police. Okay, next slide. If you haven't already done so, register on our website now to be able to be kept informed about the 5-day challenge. There'll be a link in the chat and we'll send it after. As I said, Race Equality Matter member organisation will receive it first, and the rest will be released around January. So if you'd like to access it sooner, please do become a member. Next slide. We have many of you want to know what more organisations don't know about Race Equality Week and to participate in Race Equality Week. So I'm stumbling my words here. Anyway, so we've got 2 new ideas that we'd like to run past you. The first one the community have come up with is an idea to create a social media campaign for all of us to spread the word. So we've created this tool to help, which will be available on the website soon. It's designed so you can show you're proud to be taking part in Race Equality Week by inserting your headshot. So you download the tool and then you can then post it on social media. And there's also an opportunity for your organization to include their logo in there. So that's something an idea. So you can start doing this, and we'll ask you to do it in advance of Race Equality Week. So we start making noise and momentum. And can we get from the 5,000 organizations to 10,000? But we need your help. Quick poll, your thoughts on this idea. Okay, just the one question. Would you personally post the visual that we've just shown to amplify Race Equality Week? So that's the proud to support Race Equality Week. So 76% saying yes, 4% saying no, and 19% say not sure. So 3/4 of you, you're well above the majority, saying yes, you would. And yeah, we will now build this resource for you to be able to use. So thank you. So we've seen for other themed weeks and days, we have lights on buildings. And I saw at the beginning, I think 16% of you said your organizations do this. So basically we know, so Purple, which is coming soon in December, purple light up for International Day of Persons with Disabilities. All our buildings go purple. Green for Mental Health Awareness Week, and also for the anniversary of the Grenfell fire. And then also for Pride, the rainbow is Pride. Now, as race is not defined as one specific colour, we thought we'd leave it open for organisations to shine a light or lights of the colours of their choosing as a message of support. So imagine in our cities and towns across the UK and beyond that we see buildings light up, shining on Race Equality Week during Race Equality Week. So that's an idea. So if we could just do a quick poll to get your thoughts on that. So having seen Shine a Light, first question is, does your organisation light up its buildings for themed days, weeks or months? 14% saying yes, 77% saying no, and then 9% saying not sure. So that's 1 in 7, yes, your organisation do. Do you think it's a good idea to encourage organisations to shine a light on race equality during Race Equality Week? And it's 65% saying yes. So again, 2/3. So thank you all for sharing your thoughts. What we'll now do is we now go on to the collaborative discussion. This is where you've got a chance to talk amongst yourselves. What could you or are you doing for Race Equality Week? So you're going to go to breakout groups. Sam, if you could put maybe up to 11 in a group, so it's 15 groups. That'd be great. 14 groups, sorry. So you go into the breakout, you'll have about 6 or 7 minutes and just go around the room saying what you're thinking of doing for Race Equality Week. I appreciate some of you are haven't got plans. There's a link in the chat for you to have some captions to support you. So if you just go in the group, don't go spending time introducing yourselves. You'll have 6 minutes to share your thoughts and plans for Race Equality Week. So see you in about 5 or 6 minutes. Thank you. So if we can do the poll, Sam, that'd be great. Thank you. This is really important for us to understand what's working in today's event and then also how we can help you going forward. We really value your input into the closing poll so we can see how we can help and support you going forward and how impactful is today's event. So brilliant to see 97% would you recommend today's event to others. So that's absolutely fantastic. Question 2, 96% of you learnt something new today. So hopefully that was either through the breakouts or the 5-day challenge run through. Question 3, did you learn and hear things you wouldn't normally have access to? So 85% saying yes and 15% saying no. So we know how valuable your time is. So it's fantastic that you're able to access stuff that you wouldn't normally have access to. And question 4, did you hear or learn anything that you'll use? So again, 77% saying yes, and actually a further 18% yes if you had authority. So that adds up to 95% of you would use something you've learned today if you can. Question 5, do you think your organisation will take part in Race Equality Week 2025? So earlier at the beginning we saw, I think, 66% being no. So 72% of you saying yes, you will. And then a further 24% say not my decision. No one saying no. And then 4% saying not sure. And I'm sure there's some appropriate reasons behind that. Question 6, would your organisation like to join the REM membership? So 14% of you saying yes, 20% here today are already members, only 4% say no, and the 62% say not sure. So we'd love to be in touch with you to find out more and how we can help. As Raj said earlier, it's worth at least 5,000 in assets, and it's just £599 and less for not-for-profits. Question 7, which of the following would your organisation typically be willing to invest in financially? So that's REM delivering solution workshops in organisation, 19%, and another 19% saying to support you and your team implement the REM solution. So please do get in touch to find out more. A consultative session with Race Equality Matters, 9%. Posting jobs to the REM's jobs board, 12%. Sponsoring a REM event solution, 7%, so we'll love to get in touch with you. And exclusive thought leadership events, 12%. So thank you for that. Question 8, we've trying to keep ourselves afloat. So a question is, how much would your organisation consider paying to access the 5-day challenge? So a range of prices there, and 68% say not sure. So we appreciate that, but it might be something we have to consider. Or if you could give us a donation, that'd be awesome. Which of the following topics would be of interest for Race Equality Week? So as you can see in the first part of this question, the standouts are ally versus active ally, 72%, and then how to move from action words, 80%, and lots of high 60s for action that count, microaggressions, and how to make it everyone's business in your organisation. Question 10. Which of the following topics would be of interest in part 2? So again, stand out here, inclusion versus belonging, 81%, retention of ethnically diverse colleagues, 72%, and driving organisation culture change, 80%, and then tackling bias recruitment and what and how to measure impact, nearly 70% as well as intersectionality. So thank you all for doing that. So we'll be able to learn from this and look to create future events, resources, supports to meet your needs. So thank you. So I hand you back to Raj. Thank you.
Thank you. Well done, Javed, and well done, everybody. We have 4 events running during Race Equality Week for REM, and Green Park are running 5 round tables. So you and your colleagues can attend the virtual ones. We have opening and closing events, which will feature change makers and trailblazer organisations sharing their plans and what they're doing. It's also a chance for you to get together and engage with each other. We also have 2 thought leadership events. The first thought leadership event is Let's Make Race Equality Everyone's Business, which will focus on how to move organisations and people from words to action, how to create change in culture, and how to make sure that your actions count. The second thought leadership event will be called Belonging or Bust, We know that organisations that manage to achieve a true sense of belonging are more successful, and it's crucial for future talent retention and attraction, let alone trust in your organisation. So we will hear from organisations that are doing this well, and you'll be able to discuss the importance of the difference between inclusion and belonging, addressing intersectionality, and how allies can become recognised as more active. Please do download the Race Equality Week participation pack to support you, and also so you can promote your organisation's involvement. You'll find a link in the chat. And our final Get Ready to Go event for Race Equality Week will be on the 9th of January. Again, details are in the chat. Also, please do take a look at our jobs board to support organisations reach a more diverse talent pool. Finally, a huge thank you to the team and all of you for your time and input, for our speaker, Rachel Holbrook, to our partners and sponsors for everything that they do to make this possible. If your organisation would like to donate or sponsor future events or even become a partner, please do get in touch. I'm delighted that 20% of you are interested in membership. That would make the world of difference to us. Please, to help us, we need to keep doing what we're doing. We know that the problems are not going away in the short term. We need to make sure that people are accountable for the actions that they promise and the words that they tell people internally. We really want to make that change real for people with lived experience. So if you'd like to invest in REM expertise to implement a solution, then please do get in touch. Our work is also supported by donations, so a big thank you to all the individuals and organisations that have and will donate. If you're benefiting from our resources and events and you'd like to contribute, you can use this QR code to access the donation page. You can also use it or pass it around during Race Equality Week. Any amount you give will go directly into supporting us deliver Race Equality Week and more events like this, and hopefully more impactful solutions and stories. This is our last open event of 2024, so we can wish you a healthy and positive end to the year, and we hope to see you and to see more change in 2025. Thank you.
Thank you, Raj. Thank you.